This is a raccoon. And at 3 a.m., it broke into my kitchen. I woke up because something slammed in my kitchen. Not a normal noise. Not like a cup fallen. This sounded like someone dropped an entire stack of pans onto the floor. And it was 3 a.m. I grabbed my phone, turned on the camera, and walked out of my room. I wasn't ready for what I saw. The moment I turned the corner into the kitchen, I froze. There was a raccoon standing on my counter, just standing there, like it was waiting for me. It had my leftover pizza in its hands, chewing slowly, looking me dead in the eye like I'm the one interrupting its meal. I whispered, "Bro, why are you in my house?" The raccoon didn't move. It didn't run. It didn't panic. It just stared at me like this was completely normal. And then, casually, like this is something it does every single night, it turned around and opened my refrigerator with its little hands. Like it owns the place. It grabbed a box of strawberries, dropped it straight onto the floor, and started digging through my groceries. I didn't even know raccoons could open fridges. Apparently, mine can. I took one slow step forward, trying not to freak it out. The raccoon froze again, looked at me, held eye contact for way too long. That's when I heard another sound. A light rustle behind the trash can. I leaned over a bit, pointed my phone there, and 2 more raccoons popped their heads out. 2 more raccoons, just sitting there, watching me, blinking slowly like this was a planned event. I said, "No way." "Why are there 3 of you?" The raccoon on the counter suddenly jumped down, ran across the floor, and knocked over a whole stack of metal pans. C-L-A-N. G-clang clang. I nearly screamed. It felt like the loudest sound in the universe. I stepped back toward the door, trying to figure out what to do. My brain wasn't working. I mean, what do you even do in this situation? Call the police. Call animal control. Call your mom. I ended up doing the only thing that made sense. I opened the back door wide. 2 raccoons immediately walked out, like they knew the drill. "Thanks for the food, bro." But the last one, nope. It climbed up on top of my kitchen cabinet, sat down, and stared at me like a disappointed father. No fear. No intention of leaving. Just pure judgment. I tried everything. I waved my hands. I clapped. I made weird noises. I shook a bag of chips at it. Nothing worked. It just blinked at me like, "Try harder." And then, from outside the back door, rustling. Something stepping onto the patio chair. Something climbing. I looked at the raccoon on my cabinet. It looked back at me. We both knew exactly what that meant. It didn't come alone. And somehow, my night was about to get even worse. And this is where everything actually starts falling apart. The moment I heard that rustling outside, I knew this wasn't over. I slowly walked toward the back door, still holding my phone out like it was going to protect me. I peeked through the crack. And yeah, perfect. There was another raccoon climbing onto my patio chair. Just casually, like it was doing yoga at 3 a.m., dude. "No, I can't do 4 of you. Please." I tried, waving my hand to scare it off. It stared at me, then waved its little paw back. Not scared, not threatened, just disrespectful. Meanwhile, inside my kitchen, the raccoon on top of the cabinet was still staring at me like it was conducting a job interview. I whispered, "Okay, new plan." Chip diplomacy. I grabbed the bag of chips from the counter, shook it gently like a peace offering. The raccoon's ears perked up. "Okay, good sign." I backed up toward the back door, chips in hand, talking to it like it's a toddler. "Come on, buddy. Let's go outside. Fresh air, snacks, freedom. Please." It actually started moving. Slowly. Very slowly. Like it was considering my offer. And then it smacked the glass off the cabinet. Crash! I jumped so high, the camera shook. The raccoon outside panicked from the sound and suddenly tried to run inside. Now, I had chaos on both sides. One raccoon charging through the door. One raccoon halfway down the cabinet and strawberry juice all over my floor and me in the middle, questioning every life choice I've ever made. The outside raccoon squeezed under my arm like a furry torpedo, ran across the kitchen, and headed straight toward the trash can. The cabinet raccoon decided this was the perfect moment to jump directly onto my counter. It landed next to the sink, slipped on a wet plate, and somehow turned the faucet on. Now water was spraying everywhere. My counter looked like a water park. The raccoon stood in the sink like, ah yes, my bath. I tried staying calm for the vlog. Okay guys, quick update. I am losing control of my own kitchen. One raccoon was now inside the trash can, pulling things out like it was unboxing a mystery package. Another was on the stove, sniffing my air fryer. The third was doing laps around my table. I panicked and grabbed the ham from the fridge because apparently at 3 a.m. I turned into a raccoon negotiator. I held the ham up and said, "Follow me. Please. I am begging you." All three raccoons stopped, looked at the ham, then looked at me. And suddenly, I was a chosen leader. They followed me to the door like I was hosting a midnight food tour. 2 raccoons ran outside instantly. They didn't even look back. The third one stood at the door, turned its head, looked back into my kitchen like it was double-checking if it left something behind. I nudged it gently with a broom. It hissed. I hissed back. Equal energy. Finally, it stepped out. I shut the door, locked it, double-locked it, and right when I breathed out in relief, I heard a soft scratching sound coming from the hallway. I pointed my camera at the noise, and there it was. A 4th raccoon. Inside. Still in my house. And this is the last the final boss. I stared at the raccoon in the hallway, and the raccoon stared right back at me like we were in some kind of cowboy showdown. It wasn't scared. It wasn't running. It was just standing there, holding one of my socks. Like a tiny burglar with zero shame. Okay! No sudden moves. Give me the sock and leave my house. Of course, it didn't give me the sock. It stuffed it in its mouth and waddled deeper into my hallway. I followed it slowly, whispering commentary like I was filming a documentary. Here we see the majestic trash panda stealing clothing for absolutely no reason. It turned into my bedroom. My bedroom. I stopped at the doorframe like, great. This is how I die. Killed by a raccoon holding a sock. When I walked in, I saw it trying to climb onto my bed but slipping because it couldn't get a good grip with the sock in its mouth. So now it's frustrated, and I'm frustrated, and we're both thinking, why is this happening at 3:40? Am I tried the chip trick again? Shook the bag gently. The raccoon looked at me, looked at the chips, looked at the sock, then spit the sock out like, fine. You win this round. It took one tiny step toward me and then ran under my bed. Under my bed. Bro, please. I have nothing left to give. I got on the floor with my phone light, trying to see where it went. 2 glowing eyes stared back at me from the shadows. I backed up so fast I hit my dresser. Okay. New plan. I opened the bedroom window wide, pulled the curtains back, and created a raccoon runway straight to freedom. Then I grabbed a broom and very gently tapped the bottom of the bed. Nothing. Tapped again. Still nothing. Tapped a 3rd time, and the raccoon shot out like a furry missile. It sprinted across the room, jumped onto my nightstand, knocked over a lamp, slipped on a hoodie, and finally climbed onto the windowsill. It stopped there for a second, looked back at me like it was saying goodbye. Or maybe blaming me for the whole night. Then it hopped out the window and disappeared into the dark like a ninja. I rushed over, closed the window, locked it, and then just stood there in silence. My kitchen was trashed. My floor was sticky. My pans were everywhere. There were muddy paw prints on my counter, and my strawberries were gone forever. But you know what? At least ALL! The raccoons were finally outside. I turned the camera back toward myself. Okay, guys. That was the most chaotic 3 a.m. of my entire life. My kitchen is destroyed, my bed smells like raccoon, and I think I need therapy. But you know what? We survived! I checked the back door one last time. All quiet, I whispered. Please don't come back. Because if they do, I'm moving.